and welcome to the Spazzin Out Sports Show. This is going to be episode 5. This is going to be a little different now. We're not going to be talking about Call of Duty. We're not going to be talking about video games. We're going to be talking about the NFL and free agency. We're going to go over every single team and their moves so far to this date. Right now I'm recording this on March 14th, Monday. So as of right now. So if something happened that I missed, that happened, maybe when I published this, I'm sorry. But this is as of right now, Monday, March the 14th. So I'm gonna be going over every single team, their moves, my thoughts quickly. This is gonna be, I'm gonna go try and go, a little bit faster, Okay, so AFC East, we're going right into it. AFC East, we got the Buffalo Bills. I do believe that obviously their biggest signing was definitely going to be Isaiah McKenzie, wide receiver. He's a great wide receiver, especially when coming out of the slot. He's a great red zone threat as well. I do believe that's huge for them. And then obviously you have Mitch Morse, the center, agreeing to a 2-year deal for $19.5 million. It's going to be an extension with $12 million guaranteed, so good on him. But also great for the Bills, to be able to sign him, as he's great, when it comes to the offensive line, protecting Josh Allen. So I do believe those are the two signings that are going to be very beneficial for the Bills. When it comes to the Miami Dolphins, obviously you have Teddy Bridgewater, Chase Edmonds, Cedric Wilson, Mike Gesicki, and Emmanuel Ogba. I do believe that every single one of these, all 5 of these are essential, especially when it comes to Teddy Bridgewater, backing up Tua most likely, Chase Edmonds, getting that, that 3 RB role, especially, being such a versatile running back. And, Cedric Wilson, I actually had the pleasure of watching him play in college at Boise State. He's a great player. I do believe, especially coming from the Cowboys, I do believe that he's going to be very essential to that offense. Mike Gesicki, obviously, getting the franchise tag, as their tight end, it's huge. Tight ends, a lot of people say that tight ends win football games, especially when you look at Travis Kelce, the Rob Gronks, all that. It's really essential to have a great tight end, and I do believe that Mike Gesicki is one of them. And then obviously, on the defensive side, having Emmanuel Ogba, just re-signing for 4 years, a huge contract, for about $65 million. It's great and essential for that team. I do believe that they need him, especially on the defensive side of things. If they, want to make a good run in the playoffs, especially. So, yeah. And then the New England Patriots, they only made 3 signings. Brian Hoyer, James Ferentz as their center offensive guard. He re-signed. Brian Hoyer re-signed. Devin McCourty re-signed. Not a lot of moves by the Patriots, especially shout out to my friend Noah. He wants them to make a move. They haven't made a move. They're not really known to make a move, especially when it comes to Brother Bill. You know what I'm saying? It's not looking too good. If it's broke, why don't you fix it, kind of a deal. But maybe he thinks that nothing's broken. When it comes to Bill, maybe he thinks that everything's okay and he could win, with this team. So I don't really expect too much moves from the Patriots, but yeah, you never know. Then you go to New York Jets. Shout out to my boy Trey. You have Tevin Coleman, Braxton Berrios, CJ Uzomah. Literally just signed, not too long ago. Connor McDermott, Laken Tomlinson, LaMarcus Joyner. I do believe that all of these, signings are great and essential, especially for a struggling organization in the Jets. I do know that, my friend Trey is really happy that they made signings, that they're making moves, finally, making the right moves, hopefully. Seeing this team struggle over the years, especially being in the AFC East, probably definitely sucked as, a Jets fan. But I do believe that things are looking up, especially with Tevin Coleman and CJ Uzomah. Again, another tight end. Then you go into the AFC North. Baltimore Ravens literally haven't done anything. I don't I'm just going to leave it at that. Cincinnati Bengals, you have Alex Kappa, Ted Karras, and Jesse Bates. Jesse Bates, receiving the franchise tag is huge for them. He's a great player. I do believe that he's one of the most underrated safeties in the NFL right now. Receiving the franchise tag is huge. Just having that, especially those signings of Kappa and Karras being offensive linemen is going to be huge in protecting Joey B. So that's going to be really interesting for the Bengals, the defending AFC champions. Then you go into the Cleveland. Cleveland making huge moves. Getting Amari Cooper acquired through his trade with the Dallas Cowboys in exchange for a 2022 fifth-round draft pick and swap for sixth rounders, I believe. David Njoku, franchise tag, and Taven Bryan, agreed to a one-year deal upwards to $5 million, I believe. Amari Cooper is huge, and especially that they're pretty much getting rid of Jarvis Landry. Who knows where he's gonna go, by the way. Getting two essential needs, especially when it comes to wide receiver and tight end. Finally reassuring that they're gonna have their tight end back, and reassuring that they're gonna have a wide receiver to hopefully help Baker Mayfield. Great on them. Then you go to the Steelers. The Steelers are going to be very interesting. As you saw, the lights turn off, but it's whatever. Mitch Trubisky, Arthur Mollett, Miles Killebrew, and Chukwuma Okafor. Probably butchered that, but Mitch Trubisky. That's that's an interesting signing, to say the least. It's way better than Mason Rudolph, in my opinion, so I guess that's great. But the fact that their odds to win the Super Bowl decreased after making that pickup, kind of shows it all. So we'll see how they do. Not really expecting too much from them anyway. Then you go to AFC South. You have Jeff Driscoll, or Houston Texans. You have Jeff Driscoll, Chris Conley, Christian Kirksey, Terrence Brooks. I do believe Christian Kirksey and Chris Conley are two really key signings that they made, that the Texans made. I do believe that they're just trying to get back to where they were, especially in the heydays of Deshaun Watson at Texans, and you all know what happened to him. So, and then you have the Indianapolis Colts, Mo Alley Cox, the tight end, having a 3-year, $18 million deal. Other than that, Colts haven't been really doing much, especially when it comes to, signing free agents, making trades and all that, considering that they have a lot of cap room. And they just shipped off Carson Wentz, to the, to somewhere, so we'll see. I totally blanked off of that. I'm gonna see it pretty soon. Then you have Jacksonville, obviously, getting Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram, Cam Robinson. Those are huge signings for Jacksonville, especially coming off of probably one of the worst years the whole NFL has ever seen ever. After the whole Urban Meyer stint. But Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, I think they're great players, especially when Zay Jones was on the Raiders, and when Christian Kirk, was playing for the Cardinals. I do believe it's great signings. Evan Ingram, obviously, tight end, another tight end. Tight ends win championships. It's huge for Jacksonville, and Trevor Lawrence, to help Trevor Lawrence. Then you go to the Tennessee Titans. Harold Landry's their biggest signing, obviously re-signing for 5 years and $87.5 million. Huge, especially when it comes to the defensive side of things for the Titans, trying to get back to where they were. And then you go into the AFC West. This is by far, probably some of the craziest. Obviously you have Denver Broncos with Russell Wilson. I don't know how that's going to go. I personally didn't really like the trade at all. I I don't really know why Russell Wilson went to the Broncos, but you never know. You might see Von Miller go back to the Broncos. You might see Bobby Wagner go to the Broncos. So if they could pull a couple people in Denver, who knows? They might be a championship caliber team. Shout out to my mom. Yeah, Mom, I don't know what to tell you. Russell Wilson or bust at this point. Or not Russell Wilson or bust. I think it's 2 years, you get a good run out of Russ, and then that's pretty much it. Kansas City, Orlando Brown received the franchise tag. Nothing really new. Las Vegas Raiders, Max Crosby, I think is such an exciting player. I wish I had him on my team, that being the Chargers, which we're about to talk about pretty soon. Max Crosby was getting that extension, that contract for $98.98 million over 4 years is huge for the Raider franchise. I do believe it's worth every penny, as Max Crosby is one of the elite pass rushers in the league. Then you go to the Los Angeles Chargers, Mike Williams re-signing. I love Mike Williams. Sebastian Joseph Day, Austin Johnson, Khalil Mack, and J.C. Jackson. Khalil Mack, I don't really need to say that much about him because he's great already. On the Bears, I felt like his talent was wasted because they kind of suck. So, not saying that the Chargers didn't suck over the past couple of years either, but which they did. But I'm glad that hopefully he's on a winning team now. I'm hoping. As a Charger fan, I'm used to heartbreak, so I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't even make the playoffs with this team, to be honest with you, because we could have all the players, cough, cough, LT, cough, cough, Phillip Rivers, even though I don't really like him, and just not even do anything with them. So we're kind of used to that as Charger fans. So we'll see how that goes. And then, hello and welcome to the Spazzin Sports Show. This is in addition to Episode 5, but this time we're going to be talking about the NFC teams. I did have the original file of me talking about all the NFC teams and their moves in regards to the NFL free agency and transactions over the past couple of weeks, but the file got corrupted, so I'm going to do it again. So this is just going to be in addition to all the AFC teams that I did previously. Let's get right into it. So the first team the first division that we're going to be talking about is the NFC East. So we have the Dallas Cowboys first up. They re-signed Michael Gallup, Dalton Schultz, DeMarcus Lawrence, Malik Hooker, and Jake McQuaid, that is. I do believe that Michael Gallup, Dalton Smith are very key to their offense. So I do believe that, considering that they did lose Amari Cooper to free agency, I do believe that those two are really going to help Dak and that offense, play at a high level, next season. As far as DeMarcus Lawrence goes, I did see him play in college as well. It was great to see him play, and I always knew that he would be great. And sure enough, he is. But essentially, it's just really interesting to see all the re-signings that Dallas has done. We'll see in the future if they do end up making any moves, whether it be on the defensive or offensive side. It's going to be really beneficial to them and that team to make a playoff push next season, and not have a good year next season. Then we go into the New York Giants. So far, expected to sign Tyrod Taylor expected to sign a 2-year deal with $11 million deal. Tyrod Taylor, used to play with the Chargers, who are my favorite team. So it is really great to see Tyrod Taylor, in another uniform yet again. I do believe that he should be the starter of that team. Considering that New York, hasn't been good as of late, over the past couple of years. So I do believe that, that's a good signing as well. Then we go into the Philadelphia Eagles. Shout out to Mark, shout out to my cousin Nick. We have Greg Ward signing to a 1-year contract. Jason Kelsey signing to another 1-year contract. And then we have Hassan Reddick. I do believe, was a signing that they made. I do believe that, that linebacker spot is something that they definitely need improvement on, and I do believe that Reddick is going to give that to their defense. And yeah, as far as Jason Kelce and Greg Ward go, I do believe that I'm glad that they ended up re-signing with the Eagles, especially Jason Kelce, considering that he's playing, that veteran, captain role for the Eagles. Then we go to the Washington Commanders. We have Carson Wentz, obviously being acquired by the Washington Commanders via trade. J.D. McKissick and Bobby McCain. So I do believe that J.D. McKissick, re-signing for 2 years for $7 million is huge for them. I do believe that it's going to be very beneficial as well to have Carson Wentz at quarterback. I still think that they're going to struggle next year, but I do believe that they're going to be a little bit better than they were. So I do hope that they're going to be great when it comes to rebuilding that team. And then we go next division. We go to the NFC North. One of the big moves that they made was Larry Ogunjobi. He's signing a 3-year, $40.5 million deal is really great, really beneficial. Especially considering the front seven of the Bears. I do believe that the Bears did need somebody on the front seven to help reinforce that running defense, that rush defense. So I do believe that Larry is going to definitely bring a lot of experience, a lot of aggressiveness that I think the Bears, they don't lack, but it's going to be very beneficial for the Bears to have that. As far as the Detroit Lions go, I do believe that Detroit has been making a lot of noise as of late. If I'm counting correctly, they made currently 10 moves right now. Josh Reynolds, I believe, is really important. One of the really important ones that they made. DJ Sharp, another one. Charles Harris, Alex Anzalone, and CJ Moore. I do believe, considering that their defense and their offense, played at a very low level last season, I do believe that this is going to beef up, their defense and their offense to be, better than they were last year. I do believe that it's going to be very beneficial. I keep saying that word. I do believe it's going to be very beneficial for the Lions and their fans, for that matter, to know that their front office is, trying to, create change in that organization. And then we go to the Green Bay Packers. Shout out to Denton. Aaron Rodgers, obviously, that's probably the most important re-signing that they have. As far as Devontae Adams go, he did, that's still being constructed. We'll see how that goes. He does want a long-term, a multi-million-dollar deal, so we'll see how that goes over the past. And then, obviously, Alan Lazard receiving a second-round restricted free agent tender, very, very beneficial to them as well. Preston Smith and Devondre Campbell on the defensive side, for the linebackers is very huge for their defense as well. So we'll see how that Devontae Adams situation goes. I do believe that he's still going to re-sign for them. I can't really see him leaving. He could be, holding out, just like Le'Veon Bell did, a couple of years ago with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I do believe he's going to stay a Green Bay Packer. And then we go to the Vikings. Shout out to Dave. Kirk Cousins, obviously signed a 1-year deal for $35 million guaranteed. Me personally, that I feel like that's the move that they thought they needed to make. But I don't think it's the right move. I don't think Kirk Cousins should be there. I think they should be looking at alternatives right now, because Kirk Cousins experiment hasn't been working out. So I would say maybe try and move on from there, considering how much they're paying him. Harrison Phillips, obviously, defensive lineman, very, very, very beneficial for their front four. I do believe that he's going to bring a lot to the table, as well as Jordan Hicks. That front seven right there, beefing up the front seven for that rush defense, similar to what Detroit's doing, is going to be really beneficial, especially in that division. And then we go into NFC South. Jake Matthews signing a 3-year extension with the Atlanta Falcons. Who knows who he's going to be, protecting whether it be Matt Ryan or somebody else, possibly Deshaun Watson. That's what some of the reports are saying as of right now. So we'll see how that goes. And then obviously Young Hoku, one of my favorite kickers in the game. Re-signing for a 5-year, $24.25 million deal as well is really huge for them. As far as special teams go. Then we go to the Carolina Panthers. Deontay Freeman signing a contract with the Panthers is very huge. Especially considering that he's going to play that that strong running back role. And then we have Marcus Haynes, Xavier Woods, and Sean Chandler also. Re-signing and signing with the team. They're defensive heavy. When it comes to their moves. So I do believe that they're trying to beef with the defense because they believe that maybe the offense doesn't necessarily need that many more weapons. Although their offense did struggle last year, their defense kind of held them in the game. So maybe that's why they're kind of focusing solely on the defense more because they know that they can rely on them. And then we go into New Orleans. Marcus Mayer agreed to a 3-year deal worth $28.5 million. Marcus Mayer, that is safety. He's a very good safety, and especially when in zone coverage. I feel like he's very talented. Obviously, considering how much he's getting paid. Obviously the Saints see that as well, and considering they have a lot of DBs that have left the Saints, over the years, good ones that went on to other teams. I do believe that they're trying to keep him sane and have him sane for for the long term for them to make a playoff run next season. Then we have Tampa Bay. Obviously, you got Shaq Mason, Russell Gage, Chris Godwin, Rashad Perriman, Ryan Jensen, Carlton Davis. All huge signings, but it doesn't take away from the fact that the GOAT, Tom Brady's coming back, out of retirement. He saw Ronaldo play and get a hat trick in one of the Man U games, and he just thought, I can do that too. And I believe that I think this might be actually his final year. For sure this time, or for real this time. But I do believe, Tom Brady coming back is going to shake things up. As far as the NFC South goes, I do believe that they're going to win that division. But if Deshaun Watson goes to Atlanta, who knows what's going to happen, in the NFC South. And then, obviously, last but not least, we go to the NFC West. We have the Arizona Cardinals, James Conner signing an extension, Colt McCoy re-signing, Zach Ertz re-signing. We have a lot of players re-signing with the team, which is good considering that they still have Kyler Murray, they still have all their weapons back. They didn't really lose that many people. I do believe that they did lose Christian Kirk. That can be very daunting to their offense. But as far as that goes, it's going to be really important to keep all the players that you think you may need and then get rid of the players that you think you don't need. Considering Cliff Kingsbury, the Cliff Kingsbury philosophy. So yeah. And then we got the Rams. Didn't really do that much, just re-signing a couple of offensive linemen in Joe Noteboom and Brian Allen. Then we go to San Fran. Shout out to Kona, Travarius Ward, and Michael Hasty. I do believe that Travarius Ward, signing is very important for them considering their defensive backs. Their corners, to be more specific, have been struggling, especially all the way back to when they signed Jason Brett, former Charger, by the way. They've been struggling on that front, so I do believe that they're trying to beef it up once again, in order to make another Super Bowl run with whoever their quarterback's going to be, And then we go to the Seattle Seahawks. Shout out to the Tadlock family. And shout out to Tanner, but Drew Lock, I like him, but as far as playing for the Seattle Seahawks and replacing Russ, I don't think he's going to be Russell Wilson. Obviously, that's not a hot take at all. But I do believe that he's going to lead them to a couple of wins. But playoffs, that's we'll see. Considering that they do have Will Disley and Noah Fant now, two tight ends, which, in the previous, I talked about tight ends, tight ends win championships usually, so maybe, that's just kind of what they need. And then Quandre Diggs, obviously, and Sidney Jones, on the defensive front, defensive backs, beefing that up, which is very important, which was very important back in the Legion of Boom days to have. So that's the NFC West. That's the whole NFC for that matter. Right now, I am I'm literally gonna publish this, the day I record. That's pretty much it. I do hope you enjoyed both of the videos, when it comes to me recapping the AFC moves so far as well as the NFC moves so far. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, everything, from the socials and viewing the stories that I have for the game Haus down in the description below. And then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on the video. I do thank you all for watching episode 5 of the Spazzin Sports Show. And have a blessed day.